A few months ago, I'm coaching a leader who's in a difficult position of having to do two jobs at once, his old job and his manager's job, while he's filling in temporarily as they search for a replacement. And as he's talking to me, he's concerned that number one, he's not going to do both of these jobs well, and number two, he's never going to see his family again while they search for a replacement. So, what did he do? Well, a couple months later, as we talked, he actually felt like things were going great. He had managed to get all the details under control, he was delegating well, and in fact, he had a good work life balance. What was it that made the difference between stepping into that role, being concerned, and actually seeing results on the other side? Well, it was the fact that he implemented this idea, which is our spark for today. As you think about trying to manage all the different things you have on your plate, trying to delegate well, trying to use your team well, how do you do that well? Well, you need to think about the three different tiers of activities in your life and prioritize accordingly. So what are those three tiers? Well, the first tier are the things that only you can do. Because of your position, because of your skill set, you are the one person in the organization that can do these things. That should be a pretty small list. The second tier are the things that you can do maybe better than anyone else, or things that you just enjoy doing, the stuff that's just really fun and engaging for you. And the third tier is the stuff that you're doing just because no one else is doing it. It doesn't have a home, or no one stepped up to take it, and so you are feeling that responsibility. And so what he did well is he looked at that first tier of things and said, okay, the stuff that only I can do, supervising my direct reports, investing in the leaders underneath me, managing our budget, that stuff is going to happen every single time, without exception. As Drucker says, business moves at the speed of the boss. And so if you are not doing that tier one stuff, everything else slows down. He looked at that second tier and said, okay, the stuff that I'm good at, the things that I enjoy, I'm going to get to that as I have time, but I can't make that my first priority. And in fact, some of that stuff I'm going to need to delegate to other people, even though I love it. But I need to delegate it because it's going to be good for these people's development. And third, he looked at that stuff that he was going to do just because no one else is doing it and thought, okay, who should actually be doing this stuff? Why am I doing this? Is there someone else that can take it up, again, as a delegation? Or is there someone who should be owning it but is not? How can I make sure this ends up in the right spot? What he did is he got rid of all of that tier 3 stuff that he didn't need to be doing. He made sure that the tier 1 stuff got done, and then he spent whatever time was left over in tier 2. That's a really wise choice. And most of us tend to pull in one of two directions. We either are the really responsible people who end up doing all tier 3 and neglecting tiers 1 and 2 because we just want to ensure that that stuff gets done. Or we're the people that just chase the things we like to do, and so we end up spending all our time in tier 2 and neglecting the things that we really ought to be doing in tier 1. So my challenge for you as you're thinking about your workload to ensure that everything gets done and the right priority stuff gets done, make sure number 1, you're doing everything in tier 1. Number 2, you're finding the right home for things in tier 3. And number 3, you're spending whatever time you have left over with the stuff that you like to do or good at in tier 2. If you do that, you'll be more effective, your team will be more effective, you'll get the most important stuff done.